It was so tough to lose Bella, but there was that one day, and it was in the winter, remember, and she walked off into the snow. Like, we could tell she was ready.
We tried a couple of different drugs and therapies, and we were told we could possibly get 2 to 4 months with her, and we had 21 days.
So every year we do a memorial walk for Bella at her favorite place.
Very first time I met Bella, she reminded me of a very suspicious sister. When you start dating someone, how the sister sort of looks at you like, are you good enough to be with my brother? And in her case, it was, are you good enough to be with my dad? And I got a lot of side eye for quite some time. And of course, you know, she would always sit beside him on the couch. Then all of a sudden I was beside him on the couch. And there was a lot of things like that I could tell she was not comfortable with. She used to sit in between us. But slowly that dissipated, and eventually, you know, she was with both of us very much. She was such a loving dog.
Are you my pretty girl?
And she changed the course of my life. She changed the trajectory of my life. She led me to do a lot of things outside my comfort zone, advocating for dogs. Also, since becoming an author, my books are also all based on my daughter Sydney and our rescued dogs, which started with Bella. She really, really did change my life in many ways.
I think my first memory of Bella would be probably one of my favorites was when I was still really young. I call it my first kiss with Bella. And Bella's sticking her tongue out at me, and I am doing the same. And we call it first kiss because we're tongue to tongue. And I was probably, oh gosh, how old was I then?
1 and a bit.
I always refer to Bella as my big sister.
Hi, Mommy. This is me, walking Bella. I love it walking Bella because she's my sister. I love Bella. Bye-bye.
So Michael and I were together for about 2 years when we found out we were expecting Sydney. And we always say that Bella knew before anybody else did because she suddenly started acting very differently. She would cuddle me in different places physically and very, very much protective of Sydney from the very, very beginning. And then when we first brought Sydney home, we put her car seat on the coffee table and let Bella sniff all around her. And Bella literally just laid down at Sydney's feet. And that was pretty much the way it went for months and months afterwards.
Yeah.
So we could certainly see, I mean, she was nearing 13 and we could see that she was slowing down. She had cancer, she had lymphoma. I always said one of the worst days was when I had to come home and tell Michael because Michael couldn't handle it emotionally at all. I don't blame him, but it wasn't. It was telling her. Telling her was one of the worst experiences of my life.
I just ran up to my room. You couldn't get me out for hours. I was just bawling.
Yeah, she was 5, and it was Sydney's first experience with any sort of death and loss. In the absolute worst day of our lives, when we had to let her go, we were very fortunate that we were able to have somebody come to the house. Stephanie Avery of the mobile service up here, she was phenomenal, and Sydney had always been very interested in becoming a vet. That was sort of her childhood dream, and Stephanie let her be very involved in the process, and she passed in our living room, and Sydney was hands-on involved in that, which I think, as awful as it was, it helped her to understand and deal with what had happened.
But getting to be the assistant, which I was so excited to do, I just hated what I was doing because it was losing Bella. But after I basically found out, like, oh, this is also part of the job. You can't save every animal. The life circle goes on. Right now we were at a park in Orangeville, Ontario called Island Lake. We call this Bella's Trail because this is where Bella had her final walk before she passed. This is where we knew she was ready to move on, if you will. And every year we come here with white roses and we take their petals and we put them along the path where she walked. Oh, thinking about all the good memories I have with Bella, all the fun we had at Island Lake.
This is how much I love you, Bella. I love you so much, and I'll love you forever. No matter what, even though if you're sick, I'll always still love you. I love you, Bella.